So in the last class, how far I can remember, we have done some coding on for loop, how for loop is used in Python, right? So if you can remember that thing, so I have just here given one simple problem that go through the string below, and if the length of a word is even, print even. Say for example, this sentence is given. Okay, print every word in this sentence that has an even numbers of letters. Now this string within quote is taken in a variable that is known as st here. Okay. Now what will be your output of this code? The output will look like this: word, this is a greater than symbol, then less than symbol, then 2 hyphen, then has an even length. So just like that, word has an even length, in has an even length. So you need to write 2-3 lines of code so that it will give the output like this. So until all of you join, so those who have already joined, you can try to write this code. Okay, and this is the syntax for loop. For item in object statements to do the stuff. That means this is the line for writing for loop for item in object, and next what you need to calculate or what you need to do, those statements will be written over here. And as I have already informed that 30th October there will be test on Python. Whatever you have done, okay, and hopefully the timing will be 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Sir, can you please discuss the question pattern once?
Okay, I think I have already given, right? Let me just.
Yes, sir. Actually, there you have given us that there will be 2 marks MCQ and there will be 3 marks MCQ. So in
Right,
that case, so
right.
for 2 marks MCQ, we will have to give 2 options correct, and 3 marks MCQ there will be 3 options correct, like that, sir.
Maybe, or in one option there may be 3 options. Okay, 3 answers. So all the answers will be
Okay, sir.
right. So then you will get 3 score.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, yeah. And you can ask me if you have any doubt, any query regarding the last classes. And tomorrow there will be a revision class. Hopefully you will ask me some questions. Okay, so can anyone tell me what should I write here to get this input, to get this output? Anyone? I can see that 50, more than 50 students have joined till now. So anyone can try what I should write here.
Sir,
Yes,
we can use the modulo function to check the if the number is even or odd, but
right,
here we are calculating the word length.
right. Yes, yes, right. You are absolutely correct. Now for that, what we need to write? The syntax. So we are checking if the, as you said, length of the word, right?
Yes.
Word, that is you are using modulo function
Modulo 2
to
equal to
equal
0.
to equal to
0.
0, right? So then you will write print
Int
that format,
length. Yeah.
this one, right? This one. So I am putting over here, and now this is a variable, right? This is a this is a variable, should be variable, and then plus this, right? Now you can understand. Now you can understand this is a variable and this is a string. So it will print like this way. Now for each and every word you should check this, right? That's why you need to write another line for word in. Now the sentence is given like this. Now you cannot write in this way, that will not run because that is a string, right? The total string, from the total string, each word cannot be taken out. So for that you need to split that line. So you know how to split that thing, st dot split, and if we are using just open and close parenthesis, so that means it will break it in every space, right? So this is the syntax, and now you can get each and every word from this sentence, and that will be stored this word variable, right? And you need to correct the indentation also. Similarly, this. Now if you run this, let's check what you are getting. Where is the error? st is not defined. Okay, okay. So I need to copy and paste this also. Okay. Now you are getting this, which is exactly similar to this output, right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I can't understand percentage to
So
why this is so.
just now follow me, I think. Who said this? Yes. So Paulomi, can you explain this thing, this modulo operator?
This is this is a function of like dividing. We are dividing the length of the word. Here the length of the word is 4. So we are dividing the 4 by 2, and the remainder is 0.
No, remainder not is 0. Remainder is checking whether it is 0 or no.
Yes.
The
We are
remainder
checking
is
the remainder is 0 or not.
right.
If the remainder is 0, then the word length is even, or
Right.
not 1, then
Right. And you are not printing the else statement. You can add the else statement also. So then accordingly the print will be there. But here only the even length required to be printed, because the question is given that if the length of a word is even, print even. So that's why you are printing it in this fashion. Okay. Now this is a modulo operator. This thing. Okay. So I think this is clear to all of you. And I have already given this for loop file so that you can run this thing. You can check that whether you are getting the exact output or not. So these are the examples we have already discussed, that how we can print the list elements using the for loop, right? So syntax is for I in the list one, or I, maybe you can write any variable name, num in list one, print num, so you will get the number from this list. Then you can take the colors inside the list, and you can print the color, individual colors from that list using for loop, right? Yeah, so here also the modulo function is described, and how this remainder is can be found using this modulo operator, that is also explained in the last class. If you forget, so then you can check my last class recording also. There you will find that I have explained this thing. And yeah, so this is just checking exactly what we have done today also, that whether that is an even number or odd number. And here we have directly checked the number, but now today we are calculating the length of a string. Okay, that's all. Now you may ask that why we are doing this thing, so whether it is important in bioinformatics or not. Now see, these are the codes for logic development. So sometimes in your practical problem, you may face such kind of thing, that whether when you have given some sequence ATGC, so uh, it may be required that you need to calculate that whether the length is even or not. So in that case, this kind of small codes may be helpful. Okay. Now we have used tuples also, how to print the tuple thing, and dictionary also. And then okay, yes, so we have seen how to calculate the molecular weight of a protein when the individual amino acids molecular weight is given, right? So this code has been also explained in the last class. Okay, you can check that in the previous recording. All right. So today, what I'm going to do. So first today we will see some useful operator. Okay. Yes. Is it shared? Can you see the screen of useful operators?
Yes, sir.
All right. So first one is range. There are multiple operators, so we will focus on only few. Those are used mostly in such small cases. So first one is range. The range functions allow you to quickly generate a list of integers. Okay. Say for example, you want to write or print from 0 to 10. Okay. So how you can do that? You can use a range function. So range within parentheses 0, 11. So why not I am writing 0, 10? You know that we have already explained that thing, because it will not go to the last index number, but it will move from to n minus, it will follow the n minus 1 rule, right? So this is the basically the start position 0 and stop position 11, and you can add one more argument, that is step size. So that will be in a few minutes. Just run this thing first. Yeah. So if you are printing this range 0 to 11, so it is basically giving you the same exact output, range 0 to 11. It is not generating the numbers. Okay. So for that, it is a generator function. It is a generator function. So you must cast this thing into a list. How you can do that? You just write a list in front of this statement. Okay, range 0 to 11. Now this is the syntax. This range and this list, all these are keywords. Keywords which are already written in Python programming. You are not writing anything. You are just calling this thing here. Okay, you are applying this thing. So if you run this, now you are getting the list which is showing that 0 to 10, this element. Okay. So you can similarly you can check that list range 0 to 12. So what it will print? You can guess that from the previous output.
0 to 11.
0 to 11, right? Now, if I am adding one more parameter, that is the step size. So by default it is 1. That's why you are getting all the elements here. Now, if you are writing 2, then you can check the change over here. Now you can see that it is jumping from 2 positions at a time, right? 2 steps at a time. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So these are the useful things. You can write small code using these operations. Otherwise, you need to write 2-3 lines of code to make these things in Python. But using this range and list, you can directly get the output using one statement only. Okay. Now, see, these are the examples also given here. Same thing. So if I am trying to get the 10 steps values which are within 0 to 101, so I can write in this. Okay, so this is very easy. Range of operator is actually very easy, and which is used in for loop. So range function is often used with the for loop. Okay. Any doubt, any question, any query?
স্যার আমরা যদি রেঞ্জের ওখানে 0, 101, 10 দিয়ে যদি আরেকটা অ্যাড করি
No,
আর একটা কোনো নাম্বার তাহলে কি পাবো?
no, that will give you an error because this range function can take only three things: start, stop, and stay. Okay.
ওকে ওকে
So if you are trying to write this, so it is showing that range expected at most 3 arguments but got 4. Okay. So these are the syntax. You should follow this syntax, otherwise you will get some errors.
কোনো ডেসিমাল ভ্যালু দিতে পারি আমরা?
10.5. So that you need to check. I don't know. No, float object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Okay. So you cannot do that. It is integer step. Just take it. Right. So you need to check that whether it is working or not by this way. So that was your question, right? Whether you can use this decimal value. If you run this way, so you are getting some error. Okay. All right. So next, one important function, useful function, that is enumerate. Now enumerate, how it is used. To know the use of enumerate function, you should first think that if you have given one string, that is ABCDE, this string is given and you need to print like its index and the elements. Okay, index and elements. Suppose 0A, 1B, 2C, like this way. Okay, are you getting my point? So first I run this thing, so the output will come and then I can explain. So suppose this is the output. At index 0, the letter is A, right? At index 1, the letter is B. So like this way, you want to print. So for that, if you are using just a for loop, so obviously you should include some counter. Otherwise, how it will store the index position of this string element, right? So that's why here one counter is taken, that is index count 0. That is the initialization of the counter by 0. Now you are using for letter in the string. Now you are printing the statement, this one. So there are different formats for doing that printing. So you can use dot format method, or you can use simple concatenation method. So I have given the two sample here. So the second line, you can see that print. Just a second, wait for a minute. Okay, so we have taken these examples. So for example, print at index. Now, what was the index counter? This one, index count plus the letter is and plus the letter. Okay, so for letter in this, print this, and every time you need to increase your increment, right? So that's why you are increasing the index counter by 1. So index count equal to index count plus 1, or you can write plus equal to 1. The same thing. We have discussed this thing earlier. How you can increase the counter. Okay. Now, if you run this, obviously you are getting this, and I'm showing the another thing also, which is exactly the same print, but it is used dot format method. So for printing some statements, you can use different methods. So one is simple concatenation method, and another one is dot format method. So whichever suits you, you can use that one, no problem. Okay. So you will get the same exact output, no problem. Now you can check that if I am not using this string over here, so what you are getting, because you are using index count, so you may think that okay, I will use index count only. So obviously first it will take 0 and it will try to print at index 0 the letter is A, right? And now if we run, we are getting some error. Why? Because you cannot concatenate some string with some integer value. So there is a problem. And that's why you are just changing this integer to a string. And now you are running the same thing. So it will print at index 0, the letter is A, and then it will increase the counter. So now it is 1. So it will print at index 1, the letter is which letter? From here, the second letter will be printed, right? B. So by this way, it will print all these things. It will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will start A, B, C, D, E. So exactly if you are feeling any problem, so I am running this thing again. I'm just trying to show you that if you print letter, so what it will print? It will print A, B, C, D, E, right? Not the index position. So to know the index position, what you are doing, you are taking one index counter, and that counter you are just printing, and then you are increasing that counter for every loop counter. For running every loop, the counter will be increased by 1, and that's why you are getting 0 plus 1, 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 1, 4 kind of thing. It is not related to this letter at all, because if you are printing letter, so it will print A, B, C, D, E only, right? Okay, so you can do this by this way. Otherwise, what you can do, you can use enumerate function. Okay. Now you can see that what I am writing, I am writing for I comma letter in enumerate the string A, B, C, D, E. I am printing the same line, this one. Okay. As I am trying to print the same thing. So what I am getting, Mr. Nani, what is the problem? Okay, same thing. We need to convert this integer to string, and then I'm getting this output, right? Now, can you see the difference? Can you see the difference? Why this is better code than this? So you are getting the same exact output, right? Can anyone tell me why this is more useful than this one? Anyone? Any clue?
So specification is more accurate.
Which one?
I specification
Yes.
is accurate. Means we can designate in most accurate way rather than other. Top one.
See, top one also, this is the exact position it is showing, right? The results are exactly same. It is
Sir,
not
we are
about accuracy.
sir,
Yes,
we are not using here index underscore count and extra string.
right, right. So we are omitting one step here. We don't require this counter anymore. So we are including that counter in the for loop itself. Okay, we don't need this counter again here if we are using enumerate function. So that is the useful case. So how it is operating? Probably I have told you tuple unpacking cases. So here, if you are using enumerate, so enumerate basically unpacking the tuple by this fashion, that I comma letter. So that means the index position it is taking in I variable, and the value of that index position, that means the character, that is A, is taking in the letter variable. Okay, so in this way it is unpacking these things and you are printing this I and letter only. So I comma letter. So if you by mistake, if you omit this I and you are trying to use enumerate function, so let's check what you are getting. So you are getting one error that is showing that can only concatenate string, not tuple. Okay, so enumerate is basically operating on the tuple cases. So how the tuple will be formed? With the index and its value, index position and its value, whether it is a string or whether it is a list, the same case will be there. So you must use another variable so that it can unpack that thing and it can store the index position in I. You can write any variable. You can write index also. You can name it, no problem. So that is basically a variable name. Okay. You can write J. You can write X. Anything you can write. So index will be stored in I, and this character A will be stored in letter. Okay, so letter is also a variable. Don't be confused that you need to use I and letter only. So you can write anything. You can write any name, but accordingly you should write that variable name over here and here. So then your code is fine and it will show you the exact same thing. Okay. Now next, we will see another useful function, that is zip. Now, suppose you have given two lists. Okay, you have given two lists. One is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another is A, B, C, D, E. So this is the reverse case of the previous problem. Just so now you want to zip this two list. So you may use the folder zipping cases. So you are making the files in a folder and then you are zipping these things and you can email these things in a zip file. So from that concept, zip means you are adding something, you are compacting something. So here you want to zip this two list so that 1 and A will be zipped, 2 B will be zipped, and 3 and C will be zipped like this way, this fashion. So you are trying to get this output. Okay, so let me run again. So if you just use list zip my list 1 comma my list 2 within parentheses, so you are not getting the exact output because this is again a generator function. So you need to cast this thing to a list and you need to write under the list function. Okay, so if you write this, you are getting this. Okay, 1 comma A, 2 comma B, 3 comma C, 4 comma D. Yes.
Sir, what is the output of zip at 0 into 2113668? What is it?
No, that is the memory position it is showing that, but this is not the exact output what you are trying to get. So this is your exact output, and this is not the same, right? So this is a value which is stored in your computer. That value is showing here. Okay. Something is there, but your what I say, your this kind of zipping values, so 1 with A, 2 with B, these values are not shown here. Only the memory location is shown. Okay. So for extracting that value, you need to cast it using list. Okay. If you use this syntax, list zip my list 1, my list 2, then only you will get to see the output in this task. Okay. Now you might be thinking why these are important in bioinformatics. Okay. Now suppose you have given n number of protein ID or gene ID, whatever. So might be 1 lakh or so gene names are there from different organisms, different cases. Okay. So now only the list is given, name of the list is given. Now you want to add the index of that list element. Okay. So what you will do? You might be thinking, okay, I will open the file in Excel, and then I will add one more column just beside the list elements, and we will copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1 lakh, right? So that you can do, but it is not feasible for multiple times or for larger values. 1 lakh or 10 lakh values, you cannot use Excel in easy way. Okay. So for that, you need to write some code, and you can use this kind of simple code in Python, so that you can get this kind of result. Okay. So if I am saying that, okay, you try to write this code now, say for example, you have given 5 enzymes, and you need to add their index starting from 1, so that the output will be this. So what you will write? So this is the test case. So that's why I have given 5, but I can give you 5 lakhs also. Because the index position are very much important. You can take out some 100 to 200 index position elements from a long list, right? So this kind of thing you can do that if you can convert these things to a list elements and the index position kind of. So what logic you can apply for this doing this? Okay, so let's check. To do that, obviously you should use some for loop, because there are 5 elements, and you can do this this way. For the same example, my list 1 and my list 2, I'm showing this thing so that you can write this code also. So for example, we are using this for item 1 comma item 2 in zip mylist1 comma mylist2. So already we have used this thing, zip mylist1 mylist2, right? So from here we are trying to get the item 1 and item 2. We are unpacking that thing and we are printing the index and the item in this way. So you are getting the exactly same. Okay. So from this to list, so to do these things, you need to add this list, and this list is already given A, B, C, D, E. So these two lists you need to write first, and then you need to write for item 1, item comma item 2 in zip mylist1 mylist2 print this. Okay, so that's how you can write, you can get this index from starting from 1 and the next element for that position 1. Otherwise, if you are using any other thing, means by default index, so it will be starting from 0, and in this way you can start it from 1. You are mentioning that, you are mentioning this index position. Okay, I think it is clear. All right.
Sir, can we use more than 2 items?
More than 2 items means?
If A are 1A and Roman 1,
I
like
am
here,
not getting your question.
sir, here we zip list 1 and list 2.
Right.
Can we add list 3 also?
Yes, yes, that you can do. For that, you think you need to define your list, and then you need to no, I think that is a tuple case, so it should not. Say for example m, and you are trying to add m equals to some values, right? Say for example,
Yes, sir.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, let's check. No, so too many values to unpack, expected 2, right? So,
Okay, sir.
so even if you are writing item 3, but then also okay, it might be working. Item 3, no, so it should be str. Yes, it is working. In this way, it can be writing. Okay. So inside the tuple, if you are taking 3 elements, so you need to write one more variable here, so that it can store that thing into item 3, and you can print that thing also. No problem. Okay. Are you getting the point?
No, sir, can you please repeat the point?
My point is, if you are using 2 lists, so earlier you zip mylist1 and mylist2, and now you need to zip mylist1, mylist2, and m. I have defined this thing, another list here. Okay, m.
Okay, sir.
Now to unpack that thing, so you need to define another variable. So just like item 1, item 2, I am writing another item 3, and now I am printing that item 3, and as this is a integer, so it cannot concatenate with string and integer. That's why I am casting it into string again, and then I am printing that thing. So it will print item 1, A, and 5. So you can see that exactly 1, A, and 5 then 2, B, and 6, like this. 2, B, 6, 3, C, 7, like this.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay, sir.
fine. All right. Next, now next is another simple operator, that is in. We have used in earlier also. It is checking whether that element what we are checking is present inside the list. Suppose we are checking that whether X is present in that list. So we can write in this way and we will get true if it is there, we will get false if it is not there. Okay. So if we are checking X in 1, 2, 3, obviously we are getting false. Very easy. We have used min max earlier also. Suppose we have given one list this and we are trying to get the minimum value from this list. So we will write min of my list. So I am getting 10 and so I am trying to extract the maximum value. So max my list will give 100. Another useful function used is Python, that is random. Suppose many times if for calculation purpose you need to create some random value. So what you can do, you can use this random module. Okay, random library. From this random library you can import shuffle function, shuffle method. Okay, so from random import shuffle and my list. Now you shuffle my list. So every time my list will be changed. Okay. You can check that my list position is changing. Shuffle my list. So it is the position of these elements are changing. Now it is 555 at the beginning. If I shuffle again, it is 100 at the beginning. So this is the use of shuffle function. Okay, shuffle method. And okay, so you can use random integer module rand int. From random import rand int. If you write rand int 0, 100, so it will give you some integer value which is in between 0 to 100. And if you run this again, so you are getting different value. So it is a random point, random thing it is generating. Integer you are getting. So these are the test cases. And input, we have already seen that what is the function of input. This is also very useful to get the user input cases, right? If you write input something, so that will be printed, and after that some prompt will appear, whether you are using PyCharm or whether you are using IDLE or Jupyter Notebook. Everywhere you will get this kind of prompt, and there you must insert something. Okay, and then if you press enter, that value will be returned, not this syntax, not this line. Okay, it is only for guiding the user what need to be inserted in that box. All right. So these are the simple function used in Python. Okay. Not this. Yeah. So today one more simple case we'll see that many times in bioinformatics we need this. That is the what I say regular expression. Okay. Suppose yeah. So this string is given. Okay. This string is given, and you want to find out whether the how this word is present here or not. Okay. So you can use this module, which is very much important, import ray. So these are the module useful for searching something. Ray, import ray, regular expression. Now you need to write this string, and now you are using ray dot find all. You cannot change this thing. So this is the operator which is associated with this ray library. Okay. ray dot find all within parentheses how comma string, and this output is stored in matches, and now you are printing matches, so you are getting this. Okay, so you are getting that all the how are shown in the output, how, how, not this how, because you have used exactly the capital how, capital H, right? So that's why 4 how is this. So these are case sensitive. Now similarly, you can use this sentence and you can find AI in the sentence. So manually you can check that AI is here and AI is here. So it will show you AI and AI, right? If you write the same syntax and you can use, you want to identify whether Portugal is there in the sentence, so it will show you empty list, right? Not present. So now it is quite familiar with you that this is Tata box and you are searching for this sequence, long sequence. So exactly same way you can use this thing, import ray, then you write the text that is this given sequence, and now you apply the ray dot find all. What you need to identify the state data and where it will find, that is the sentence or the sequence txt, and the output is stored in x variable and you are printing this. So now you can see that there are 4 data, this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? 4 data are present. Okay. All right. So I think there are many more examples like this. Anyway, today I am stopping here. If you have any questions, then you can ask me. So this module is very important to identify that whether your query sequence is present in the target sequence or not. Okay. So this kind of thing, which is very much related to your bioinformatics also, bioinformatics pattern matching or kind of thing.